What is the role of outsourcing in the sense of, at the end of the day, traders are paid to trade. Financial advisors are paid to give advice and on the benefit and breadth of their customer base. Banks are meant to control and manage deposits. There's still a fundamental core business, but yet technology and the risk profile of all these institutions is the forefront of the conversation. So we've seen a lot of departures of senior financial service professionals moving into the vendor landscape. What do you see the role of vendors kind of going forward into the future, especially as it relates to that skill set concept of trying to onboard? Is the bank expected to be a financial service, or a technology company, or a financial service company in this environment?
Let's start with the original, just simply IT outsourcing. Now I'm at the beginning of a study to look at our modeling and our framework in the context of the big IT outsourcing and business process outsourcing firms. So the following is essentially preliminary, but in the modeling so far, it's quite fascinating because the technology economics, right, and the technical signature, the revenue per employee is one of the key analytics that we use, suggests that the IT outsourcing is purely a labor arbitrage, and that the risk in that, I can get why it's done because it's a shorter term. I got to make my earnings. I got to cut costs. I got to move this to here. I've got these big organizations that specialize in doing this workflow or doing this lower level kind of tasks, series of tasks in business process outsourcing. But they're not offering a whole lot of innovation. They're just lifting out pieces of a process or tasks in a process and giving it to another organization whereby they get this massive discount. But by virtue of their so-called technical signature or technical leverage, what the risk to that is long term, and I think this is going to be a colorful narrative to explore as the modeling bears out and we get our heads further around this, is that when you lift out a series of tasks or lift out a process like that, you lose control over the re-engineering aspects of that process or those series of tasks. And that's a serious long-term problem. I get the short term, I need to save money now. But once you've done that, you're no longer in control of trying to figure out, can I do that task more efficiently using this new fintech toolbox, doing more collaborative, doing more visualization, doing more analytics, doing more, say, do-it-yourself or self-service aspects to the workflow. That's just one piece of your question. The rest, since we've been clowning around, I've already forgotten.
So, but that brings up an interesting question, though, in the sense of, so Goldman Sachs has come out saying that it's going to give up, what has been its secret sauce and share it in terms of SecDB.
Yeah.
So, and part of the underlying statement was it's no longer a competitive advantage for the institution in terms of holding on to that massive elements of technology. So to the extent of losing some of that control over over the back end of things that might be lower level, is there a competitive advantage that firms are giving up, or are they seeing the competitive differentiator somewhere else if I look ahead?
Yes. So they're looking at it through a lens that is not easily detectable by the marketplace. Goldman doesn't make mistakes like that. They're just about the best in the business. By some of the modeling I've done, they're one of the very few handful of firms that behaves like a digital organization, that has a technical footprint and achieves the technical leverage that is close to a Google or a Facebook or a Netflix, which are the so-called FANGs that represent a proxy for the digital frontier in terms of this technical leverage. The banking sector as a community is way, way, way behind that. And so in the case, getting back to the question there, you notice the firms that are able to do this kind of offering to the marketplace are some of the best in the business. I mean, you look at what Citadel did originally with Citadel Solutions, I think it was, and then it became Omnium because, you know, the hedge fund investor were nervous that there was some a lack of a Chinese wall, for lack of a better term, and then that was sold off to Northern Trust as a fund administration business, and then Citadel has come back. Citadel clearly one of the great leadership companies in the ecosystem. Goldman certainly there as well. My guess is one, if Goldman can offer some technology or some solution to the marketplace, it is sufficiently commoditized to them that they're really not giving up a whole lot of secret sauce. And to the extent that they risk giving up access to secret sauce, you better believe that they're collecting the data. So if you develop a community of users of their solution, they're picking up some sort of precursor to alpha or some signal that leads to alpha that is sufficiently strong. It's basically a behavior detection tool.